They were met with hideous sights, not only of bodies piling up, but of living, almost unrecognizable ghosts groping their way around, calling out the names of family members separated in the destruction and chaos. Most tram cars were just blackened wrecks, the passengers burned to cinders. Flames were whipped up by the winds into a firestorm that wreaked further devastation out into the suburbs. The ghastly smell of burning flesh filled the air. Hundreds, thousands crawled or jumped into water tanks that had been put up throughout the city to try to prevent fires spreading in the event of incendiary bombs being dropped. Others leaped into the rivers that were so much a feature of the city to try to escape the firestorms, but most of them were so badly injured that they did not survive long, and within hours vast numbers of blackened corpses started piling up along the estuary banks and the seashore. A later report calculated that of 76,000 buildings in the city of Hiroshima, 70,000 were damaged or destroyed. All the facilities of urban life, including the city hall, police stations, fire brigades, schools, roads, banks, shops, electricity and gas supplies, sewage systems, hospitals and medical centers, were destroyed. 90% of all medical personnel were killed or disabled. It is thought that about 70,000 people died in the first few hours after the bomb dropped. The doctor who had been in his garden when the bomb exploded miraculously survived but was badly injured. He later wrote, "Hiroshima was no longer a city, but a burnt-over prairie. How small it was with its houses gone." For the survivors, this was only the beginning of their horror. After a few days, even those who had escaped terrible burns started to sicken. They went down with nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and fever. Blisters and ulcers began to appear on their skin, in their mouths and throats, and on their gums. They suffered from hair loss. The doctors did not know what they were witnessing and called this atom bomb sickness. What they were seeing was the first ever case of mass radiation sickness. Victims were suffering from an extremely low white blood cell count and infections caused by gamma rays. Few recovered. By the end of the year, the total death toll from the bomb was estimated at 140,000, and after 5 years, this had gone up to 200,000. 3 days after Hiroshima was hit, a second bomb was dropped. This was a plutonium implosion bomb, using a different fission process from the first. The target was Kokura, but when the B-29 arrived overhead, heavy cloud cover obscured the city, so the plane flew on to its secondary target, Nagasaki. The same horror ensued on the ground after the explosion of this bomb, but Nagasaki was surrounded by steep hills, so the loss of life was less severe. Probably about 40,000 died within hours, 70,000 by the end of the year, and 140,000 over the next 5 years. The day before, the Soviet Union had declared war on Japan, and the Red Army marched into Manchuria and then North Korea. Still, the military faction in the cabinet in Tokyo refused to consider capitulation. But on the 10th of August, Emperor Hirohito overruled his cabinet and announced his intention to surrender. A few more days passed before final terms were agreed, and on the 14th of August, the Second World War ended. But the atomic age had begun. An official Japanese committee of scientists and physicians later compiled information on the damage caused by the 2 atom bombs. Many survivors were interviewed. Accounts that had been recorded by Japanese and US military and medical authorities who had visited the area in the weeks after the bombs exploded were assessed, and detailed calculations were made about the destructiveness of the bombs at different points from the hypocenter and the different types of thermal burns victims had suffered. The committee defined the atom bomb as a weapon of mass slaughter and concluded, "The experience of these 2 cities was the opening chapter to the possible annihilation of mankind."